Hey, hey. Let me share this really quick. Hello, hello. Good morning. Good afternoon-ish. Oh, such good stuff has been coming up with my clients today. Oh, the same stuff is coming up, keeping everybody stuck. I can't wait to share on this today. Good morning, good morning. Hey, Christina. Hey, Heather. Hey, Michael. All right, sorry, let me share this really quick, and then I'll hop into this. Jump right in. The problem isn't to find the answer, it's to face the answer. This is a big deal. It's a big thing. Yeah, the squirrels run up the screen. They do. They look like they're flying. They run up and they run like across the top. They're so cute. I get to, and the boy ones, they like, I didn't know the boy ones were like that, but I get to see them every single day. Hey, Sarah. Christina. Okay, sorry. Squirreling. Speaking of squirrels. Squirreling. Let me share this now. Share into my group. Female entrepreneur. Post. And share onto my business page really quick. This is such a big one. This is going to serve the shit out of you guys today. Literally, hey John, literally as I've been coaching one-on-one clients today and like, you know, my Diamond Mastermind girls and stuff like that, it's like the same thing as kicking everybody's ass. It's the same thing. And my intention today is to expose that to you. So, you know, yeah, maybe we can't change it in a millisecond permanently for the rest of our lives, but we can sure see it today and shift it today and choose to keep doing the work every single day. And you know, half the battle is just knowing what your, oops, wrong button. Just when I try to multitask doing this, I think I just shared this again to my own timeline. I did. Okay, done. Okay, so half the problem is actually just knowing what the hell is going on. And once you can at least see like, hey, this is the thing that's going on, you can start making decisions to face it, right? So like one of the common things that I hear a lot of coaches say to me is like, well, I don't know what my message is, right? And it's so perfect. And this is what I shared with one of my private clients today. Like, it's such a perfect procrastination excuse. There's like something happens, I make up a story about what that thing happening means, and then I make up an excuse that I get to procrastinate because I don't like feeling the tension of facing that thing. Right? Which is why I name this what I name it. The problem isn't to find the answer, it's to face the answer, right? So like every single time when someone comes to me like, oh, I don't know who my niche is, or I don't know what my message is, or I don't know how I want to share this to the world, or I don't know how to get new clients, I don't know how to raise my prices, I don't know how to begin launching groups, I don't know how to launch my secondary business, or my, if you want to know mine lately, my excuse is like, I don't know how to start this foundation. I don't know how to start a foundation. I'm not smart enough to start a foundation. I don't even know who I want to help. I don't know where to begin, yada, yada, yada. You see what I'm saying? Feel free to drop in the comments below because it's a really big deal. When you can just say the thing out loud, like, can we just with no judgment just own our shit for a second? Like, can we just be like, this is the story I'm telling myself? I like to pretend if my kids aren't perfect and everything is perfectly happy for them, I can't help anybody else because that would be like betrayal of my kids. So I like to use that story as an excuse not to show up and step into my power, right? So what is yours? What is your thing? What is the story you're telling yourself that you're pretending that you don't know how to do, right? And here's the deal. I know that we like to tell ourselves that the problem is that you don't know how. I don't know how to make 6 figures, Mandy. I don't know how to coach a new level of client. I don't know how to free up my time. I don't know how to feel intimate with my partner. I don't know how to be more loving. I don't know how to stop freaking out. I don't know how to eat better. I don't know how to be more consistent. I don't know how to stay motivated. I don't know how to be energized, etc., right? This is what I hear a lot. I love to tell myself I'm lazy or I'm a procrastinator as though it's an inherent trait. Yeah. That I'm not in control of. Yep. That's a good one. I used to tell myself that one. Yep. And it's so powerful when you can own, yep, the how. I don't know how, but I don't know how. It's so funny because I told myself that when I first launching my business, right? Like I had just been a nanny for 10 years and made $400 a week, and I didn't really know that much. And, you know, I told myself like, oh, I don't know how to be a coach. I don't know how to launch my business. And of course, everyone around me was telling me like, you know, that I wouldn't be successful at it either, because everyone they knew weren't successful at it, right? So I was telling myself that I didn't know how. But guess what shifts you out of that? You tell me. What is the thing that freaking shifts you out of the story that I don't know how to do this? There might be a hint in the title of this. The how is so big. Look, I didn't believe anybody when I first started. When people were like, it's not about the how, I was like, it's freaking about the how. And there's 20% of the time you say that, that might be true. And if you're in the beginning, none of the time you say it is true. None of the time that you say it is true if you're in the beginning of launching a business or being an entrepreneur, if you haven't hit 6 figures or something like that. It's never really true that you don't know how. It's impossible. It's like my clients who come to me and like, I've hired 2 assistants, but I'm not even making 10K months. Like, what the hell is that? Like, there's funny, silly shit that goes on when we don't, when we don't actually call a spade a spade. So the problem isn't to find the answer, it's to face the answer every single time that you're feeling like something is mysterious and you just don't know how to get there. It's because there's something you're feeling that you don't want to feel. There's something that you feel that you don't want to face, that you don't want to sit with, that you don't want to be present with, that you want to squirrel out about, that you want to not be mature, not be decisive. You make up a story that if I step into this, or if I let myself feel this or own this, then I'm not going to be able to watch the videos that I like, or I'm not going to be able to you know, have my routine in the morning that I love and have my morning off, or I'm not gonna be able to spend the time with my kids or my family that I want. Or like, you know, one of my clients today, even legit, you know, the pattern is screaming like, you can't have both. You can't have a thriving relationship and a thriving business. You don't get to have both. You only get to have one. This is like the stuff patterns say. Fear of failure. Yep. And most of the time when I work through these things with my clients, it's actually not fear of failure. It's just a fear of the unknown. And the reason they have a fear of the unknown is because they ain't sitting with what it is that they're feeling and what's coming up for them, right? Yes, I love escaping to my mind and analyzing instead of feeling. Well, if I can just sit here and figure out, if I can figure out the whole thing, right? It's like, this is the analogy I give. It's like that person you see that like, they buy the weights and they buy the workout shoes and they buy the workout pants and then they buy a treadmill and then they buy a stair stepper and then they buy weights for their ankles and then they buy the sweat rags and then they buy a water bottle and then they buy a new whatever gym bag, and not once have they gone to the freaking gym. It's the same thing. You ain't gonna get in shape by buying all the shit, right? Like, what if you didn't buy anything and instead you just went out and you went for a walk, or you went for a run, or you did some push-ups on the floor, or you did some planks for a while, or you popped on a free YouTube video, right? Like, when you're serious about getting the results, when you want the damn thing, you're gonna get it, right? And I love, this is what I use for myself. It's really helpful for me. So the way I compare it is like, okay, so like the current thing going on for me is the foundation, or some version of a foundation, something like that, right? A real give back kind of showing up. So I get to ask myself like, okay, this feels so hard. I don't know how to do this. I watched the Marie Forleo, Brene Brown podcast yesterday while I was in the bathtub. Oh my God, it was so like, it was so triggery for me, because I was just like, oh, they're so smart and they understand this world and they know the history of women and suppression and they're up on politics, and like, I'm so stupid. I can't, like, I don't fit into that world. Like, you know, I'm successful doing my own thing, but like, I just need to stick to what I do and stop thinking that I could actually make that kind of change or get into legislation or whatever, right? So that's the story that comes up. And then I get to either feel the tension of, well, what would me, being me, look like in that arena? And what if I don't fit in? And what if I'm not smart enough to figure it out? And what if I start a foundation and the rest of my business fails? And what if I'm too like rough around the edges to fit into that world? yada, yada, yada. And I can eat shit, I can eat shit. That is what that sounded like. That was interesting. Oh, yeah, that's not what I was trying to say. I can either, and this is so important, you guys, if you track with me, this is going to change your life. I can either feel the tension of, well, I might find out that I'm not smart enough to make that happen, so what would I do about that? Am I going to just be like, oh, see, I knew it, poor me, I'm not smart enough, I can never do this? Or am I going to be like, okay, reality is I need to do some catching up on learning the history of women's rights and suppression and what's currently going on in legislature and what are the people who are in the forefront, you know, the Gloria Gemma and these other people who are on the forefront of doing these kind of things, like how did they build their foundations, and you know, who are they supporting, and what's the gap, what's the need, what's the space, and I'm like, okay, I'm willing to learn that and step into it. And in the meantime, I'm going to remember that as I do this, it's going to contribute to me expanding, and when I expand, it's going to contribute to my current business and my clients and my relationships and my children and my husband, because I'm expanding as a woman and I'm listening to the call on my soul. Right? Or that's one avenue. Or I can do what we are tempted to do when we're left to our own devices. This is why I always have mentors surrounding me. I just hired another mentor right now. The other thing that we can do is we can make up a story that sounds really good and is socially acceptable. We can get people to agree to us. That lets us stop feeling the tension of like, well, like, okay, now I'm at that space where I'm going to find out if I'm smart enough to do this or if I fit into this kind of crowd over here. And now I'm going to find out. And that feels like tension. So it's really a lot easier for me to pretend that I shouldn't be starting a foundation until my kids are perfect. Do you see what I'm saying? And you can just swap this around and apply it to whatever you have going on. It was never ever about you finding the answer to your problem or the how to get it done. It was always, always, always a matter of you facing the answer that you already freaking know. 100% of the clients, right? Like right now we just opened the doors for Wealthy Coach. Wealthy Coach is for like clients who are trying to get those consistent 10K months, who are maybe looking to scale from, you know, having those consistent one-on-one clients, just trying to get their first amount of clients, or really trying to understand how to shift their business into a place that's supporting them fully, retire their husbands, you know, be able to travel with their business, those kind of things, right? So like how to actually get the business up and running, how to hit 6 figures, how to get those, you know, 5-figure months, etc. And 100% of the time, the clients that come into this are focused on, I don't know how, and really what's going on is there's some fear and there's some patterns swirling out and there's some stories that they're telling themselves, and there's definitely a big part of it is just being surrounded by people who buy into the bullshit. So, I mean, just having an arena in a space that you come into, or creating an arena in your life that you can be called out on the bullshit, like, hey, yeah, maybe it's not true that you don't know how to do that. Maybe you just are scared to do it. And maybe you don't have a why that's strong enough for you to actually show up and make it happen. So like I was saying before, the analogy that I always use is, you know, if you had a mother, father, brother, son, child, whatever, right, who like is going to die in 7 days if you don't make 10K, would you make the 10K? And like, it can sound dramatic and you can ignore it if you want to, but let's just look at it for what it is. All that means is that there's another level to play this game at. There's another level to show up in life. And if you're not showing up to that level, that just means that you are not in purpose, you are not in alignment, and you are not really clear on what your vision is for your life. Like, what is your vision? Why the hell are you doing this? Oh, thanks, Susan. Why are you doing this? My thing just went dark. I don't know why. That's weird. Why are you wanting to make that 10K a month? Why are you wanting to hit 6 figures? Because if you think it's just for the money, you're just going to continue to not show up, because nobody really gives a shit about the money. Nobody does. Nobody really gives a shit about the money. And people who think they give a shit about the money just haven't done the work to get really clear what they want, and then they'll step out of integrity in order to get there, right? There's a whole bunch of messiness that happens in that. So getting really clear why you are, like, what is your purpose in this world? What are you doing this for? What is the impact that you're leaving? And here's another thing. I've learned this lesson over and 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 over. If you are thinking about how this is going to serve you, like, I'm going to reach those 10, 20K months, I'm going to hit 6 figures, and I'm gonna feel safe, and I'm gonna feel secure, and I'm gonna be able to teach other people how to do the same. That's a good start. That is a really good start, right? But really what's gonna launch you is when you get really clear how this is gonna change the world, how this is gonna impact people, how the things that intrinsically piss you off and make you happy. We did all this work in purpose last night. If anyone's interested in, like, if you don't know what your purpose is and you don't have a purpose statement for your life, then you need to just tag us or reach out to us, and you can purchase the replay, or you can go to mandyperry.com/purpose. You really need to get really clear on this, right? And we do the same work in the Wealthy Coach. So really getting friggin' clear, what do you actually care about? Because let me just tell you, if I am pushing and working really hard so that my kids can have a nice car, that's just not gonna happen. It's not about the money. It's just not about the money. It is about everything that the money brings, because money is the currency in this culture. But if you don't know what that is, why are you gonna work for the money? The hell are you gonna work for it for? You're not going to. I am not gonna be showing up every day, doing Facebook Live, speaking the truth, calling people's ass to more, being in tough conversations, like really like consistently like calling my ass to more. If I get messy, if I go off track, if I choose a bunch of yucky things, getting back on track and staying on track, right? Like, so I'm not gonna call my ass to be the healthiest and best version I can be if it's not for something that actually means a lot to me. So getting really clear, like, what are those things that really piss you off? What will you fight about? What will you fight for? What will you die for? And are you showing up and doing that kind of work in your life? Because when you are, can I just tell you, when you are clear on that, when you're clear who the hell you are and what you're doing in this world and what you stand for and what pisses you off to your soul and your core, and you're committed to showing up and making a change in that instead of playing the victim of it, and you use that anger to fuel your business and that justice and that sense of purpose, and taking all that shit that happened to you in your past and making some sort of sense out of it and turning it into something good and owning your power, standing in that place and bringing that to the world and bringing change and healing to the world, the how cannot stop you. The how cannot stop you, right? So like instantly I knew, okay, all right, I want to start this foundation. So I'm feeling all sorts of stuff coming up, just super levels of unworthy and like overwhelm, and everything's going to fall apart if I do this. And the one thing I knew is like, I'm not going to do this unless there's like, I can fly in my face, unless I'm super clear on what the hell I'm doing this for, and that thing I'm doing it for isn't like, oh, this sounds good, or this is just the new level in my business. I'm doing this because this is what I feel called to do, and I'm making an impact on something that is a pain or need I see in the world. And the second I can get behind how this is going to heal or contribute to the pain and the need that I see in the world, that means a lot to me and that I actually give a shit about and is something that is important to me, I'm gonna show up and figure out how. And I already did. I already reached out to a few people. I sent off emails. You know, I've done a post just like putting feelers out there and testers out there to be connected to people. But that only happened because I got really friggin' clear why I was doing this, what the hell did I actually care about, and am I creating and doing something that's in alignment with me, right? And the best analogy I ever heard was basically when you show up to do something and it's not really your purpose, it's not really in alignment for you, then it's like the doors close and there's a struggle and there's a lack of clarity and there's all this stuff in this, you know, messy bullshit, because it's not your world. You weren't meant to be there. It doesn't belong to you. What belongs to you is the stuff that's in your purpose, in your frequency, in your vibration, on your radar, something that you are meant and feel called to show up in. And then all we have to work out, right, is what I just said. It wasn't about finding the answer. It was about facing the answer. And it's about facing the fears and worries and patterns that come up when you are facing the thing and allowing yourself to feel what you really feel. And then we work through that, and now you're driven by purpose. You're driven by things that actually matter to you. You're creating power from the things that you've been through, and your blocks are removed because now you're in your own world. You have entered into your world where the doors fly open. And I can say that, right? I can say that because I was a girl who 2.5 years ago was on friggin' food stamps and was making $400 a week and living in a crappy little apartment 2.5, 3 years ago, something like that, right? And so obviously I didn't just magically figure everything out on my own. I was in purpose. Obviously God has something to do with the amount of success that I've had in such a short way, which is because I'm co-creating with the universe, right? That doesn't make sense to you. That's something you really want to understand, because then you're getting in alignment with yourself. Does this make sense to y'all? more valuable than wealth. I make the deeper shifts 100%. I say this every day to my clients. It was never about getting there. It was never about getting there. It was about you being fully lit up, you being in your purpose, you being in your power, you bringing your gifts to the world, you leaving your legacy because you lived in purpose and you were brave enough to feel the shit that you were trying to not feel when you were making up all the excuses as to why you can't have it. Does this make sense? Do you hear what I'm saying? It was always about you becoming the woman that it took to create that vision you have in your head. And if you don't have the vision, great. It's like, you see what I'm saying? We'll just keep taking steps back until we get to wherever you are. And now, okay, this is where you are. And two things are going to happen. One, we own and accept where we're at. And then two, we get really clear what is the work for you to get what you want. Actually, I'll say three things. So one is getting really clear where you are. I'm here. I would like to be here. This is the work in between. Am I willing to show up and do this friggin' work, right? Like, okay, am I willing to do this work? Wealthy Coach, that is the work we're doing, right? My team is offering a complimentary call. You can go over to the website that my team linked, just mandyperry.com, and book a call with my team. Get on the call, work through your shit, right? This is an act of service and love. There's no pressure. Just let them love on you, right? So this is where you're at, this is where you want to be, this is the work in between. Are you willing to do that work? If the answer is yes, then the next question will be like, okay, why are you doing this? What is your purpose? What is your mission? And can we get you on board with that so you're fueled and moved forward and we're not stuck making up excuses like we pretend we don't know what to say, we pretend we don't know what to do, we pretend we don't know who to help. That's only because we start thinking about weird things. We start thinking about like, well, I really would love to help welfare moms, but I only know how to help coaches and they're not all going to want to be coaches, so and that might not work, and blah blah. Instead of like, no, I want to help welfare moms, so that means I'm going to learn whatever the hell I need to learn, and I'm going to do it until I'm successful at it, and whatever that takes is what it takes. And then we remember there's a new level to play at. And this is the part that I feel like on social media there's been a lot of stuff around, don't judge yourself if you're not making money yet as a coach. And I really honestly, obviously there's no judgment, and I love you guys, and I know that the journey is the journey, the work is the work, it takes what it takes. And if you're being really honest with yourself, are you showing up at the level that you would be showing up with if your mother was gonna die in 7 days if you didn't create the results that you're looking to create? So, and I'm not even saying you have to show up to that level. I definitely don't show up to that level every single day, for criminy's sake. Definitely not. However, I have shown up at that level, and it's available for me to show up at that level. And the first thing I'm going to tell myself is like, hey, Mandy, if you really want this, you're going to show up at that level. And if you're not showing up at that level, then you need to work out why you don't actually want this. Do you see what I'm saying? It was never like, Mandy, I'm doing everything and I'm not getting the result. No, you're not. No, you're not. You are not showing up at that level. If you were, you'd be getting the result. And if you feel like I can't get myself to show up at that level, that is what this whole point of this, right? Like, what is the thing that you're feeling, that you're ignoring, suppressing, numbing out, procrastinating, etc., doing all the mischief, busy work, crazy bullshit that we do as human beings instead of feeling the thing that you're trying to avoid feeling. And if you have the courage and the bravery and the stamina and the chutzpah to actually just be present with yourself for a damn second and acknowledge the thing that's been freaking you out or scaring you or making you sad or angry or upset, and you take the time to just let yourself feel that and feel your way through that, right? In Wealthy Coach, I'll teach you how to do all that stuff, right? But like, if you just be present with that and let yourself feel through it, that's when it's like a wave and it'll wash over you and it'll go back out to the ocean and it's not driving you anymore. It's not like, well, I just need to get away from this thing. So like, I have to pay all my bills. So I'm going to keep running on this treadmill of, I just have to pay my bills. I just have to pay my bills. And nothing that you're doing is creating any kind, like negative things can't get you positive things. So like scarcity and fear cannot bring you success and joy. It can't. Only a focus on like how I'm creating something that's going to bring success and joy can bring success and joy. Do you see what I'm saying? It's like not even common sense for us to think that it would happen any other way. It's like, I can't masculine my husband into his masculinity. I can feminine him into it. I can love him and encourage and express my undying vision for what's possible for him. But if I think that I'm gonna like bully, push, masculine him into his masculinity, That is absolutely 100% never going to work. And you can't negative your way and fear your way and bullshit story pattern, procrastination, perfectionism your way to success and happiness and joy. Which means you have to be available for considering that right now. And if you're not available for considering that's something that you could choose to have right now, and you have to wait 5 years to have some success in your business, then I'm definitely not the mentor for you, because I just don't play that game. I really want to help welfare moms. I think that's why I'm drawn to you. I know. But you know why, Tara? Because I know that there's women out there who are working as hard as I was working, 18-hour days, and I was going to school, and I was studying for my final exams. I had a 4.0. I made sure I was top of my class because there was a story in the back of my head that if I wasn't, I would never make it. And I was taking care of my kids and bringing them to sports and working as a nanny and taking care of the kids that I was nannying for. And like all of this was going on, dragging my laundry up and down flights of stairs in the snow, almost falling and breaking my neck. And like the dishes, like endless amounts of dishes, just on and on and on, and like listening to my audio tapes in between, trying to unfuck my life and figure out how to save and rescue all the people I love, and like I just didn't know better, and I didn't know how to heal myself, and I definitely was like drinking too much, but then listening to these audios and like just stumbling my way through, and I was just like, if somebody would just tell me what to do, I would do it. I work so hard, I'm willing to do anything. Like I'm the girl who shows up and does the fucking work. I will do it. And if somebody would just teach me how to do this, I would do it. And I knew I would. And I know there's thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of women just like me out on their planet who's like, I will show up and do the work. I'm willing to consider that the bullshit I'm telling myself is not contributing to the life and the dreams that I want to create. I'm willing to try on some new ideas and thoughts. I'm willing to own that I'm responsible for the experience I have in life. And I'm willing to show up and do the work. Right? And those are the women that I'm here to help. That is my ideal client, is the client who's willing to be like, oh, you're right, I am squirreling out. I am pretending I don't know. Oh, you're right, I was pretending that I didn't know who I wanted to serve, because in my head I was just thinking, well, that one won't make money, so I can't do that. No. We're listening to soul and backing ourselves and trusting ourselves. Women have the most powerful intuition in the whole entire universe. It is absolutely flawless. You get to trust your soul and you get to trust your body every single day, and you will always get intuitive guidance that you get to trust and follow. And so all it is just recognizing like, oh, how much time since I started my business or this entrepreneur journey or self-help journey or whatever it is, whatever your result is, right? You got to have a goal. How long have I been sitting in indecision and doing a bunch of scattered random things that aren't really like power moves? And then just being like, oh, I don't understand how this won't work for me. I'm doing everything, and this is so hard, and I don't understand. Instead of, this is my goal, this is where I'm headed, what's the next power move I can make to get there? What am I resisting feeling? Oh, I'm actually feeling this. All right, what is the way I'm choosing to give myself what I need so that I can continue on my journey? And why the hell are you doing this anyway? There's the magic, right? I love tracking with you. I was literally thinking of this just before hopping on. This is like everywhere right now. Every single person I'm coaching, this is the stuff coming up, right? So it just is what it is. And then, I'm going to just throw this out there because we're saying it all. Might as well continue to say it all. Let's just say all of it. Yes, actually, charging good prices for what you do is really an integrity and alignment, because now we're all playing a big game. Right? Like, if you're charging low prices, it's because you still want to be fucking messy and you don't want to have to show up and be accountable and responsible to show up as your best self. So don't pretend it's something different than that. That's what it is. It's selfish. It is selfish. We're just wanting to like, oh, I don't want to have to show up at that level. If I charge 10K for my package, I'm gonna have to show up as a 10K coach. And really, I know that I'm drinking that wine and eating those cookies and staying up watching friggin' Dr. Phil till midnight and then exhausted the next day, and I don't really want to be that responsible. Like, all right, let's call our ass to something else, okay? And then the second one is like, do you have a mentor? And I know it's easy for us mentors to say that to people, but I invest in mentors, right? Like, I'm not calling you guys to something I don't do, right? Like, I would never go without a mentor because that's ridiculous. As Einstein said, and not one of my mentors doesn't have a mentor. Every person I've ever chose has mentors as well. There's a reason that everybody successful tells you this, right? And like, why don't you hear it? Because you're afraid you're getting sold to or taken advantage of, or somebody's not in integrity and maybe they're just really good at selling, and how do I know I can trust them, and all those patterns that come up. But come on, let's be real. It doesn't have to be me, but if you're not allowing yourself to, like Einstein said, the same way of thinking, like your brain and the way you think right now isn't magically going to get you something else. The way you think gets you what you have right now. So what needs to change? It's the way of thinking. One of the shifts would be what I taught you guys today. The problem isn't to find the answer, it's to face the answer. That's one of the mindset shifts, do you see? And if you really understood that and came from that place and can have those higher level things reflected back to you in the moments when you want to revert to the pattern, you are going to make such powerful moves. And here's the place where everybody gets crazy. Well, I don't have proof yet that I can pay that back or that I'll be able to make those payments. I don't have proof that I'll be able to do this. I need proof that I'll be able to pay this off and that it won't be a waste of money. No, you don't need proof. You need to trust yourself that you'll show up. That is the proof. The proof is I'm committed to this. I've decided I'm going to back it up and I'm going to do whatever it takes to make this investment worth every damn penny and times 100 and make this investment so irrelevant. Like it just didn't, the investment I made in this is so irrelevant. And literally I just did this myself today. I just reached out to someone. I just did the same thing and I was like, ooh, that amount, like, I don't know. And I was like, yeah, but I trust myself to show up in a way where that investment is going to be so irrelevant very soon because I'm choosing mindfully by soul, I'm choosing the people to support me in my life. Do you understand what I'm saying? That's not any different than when I first hired my cleaners. I first hired my cleaner and it was like, okay, the amount of time that's freed up from the cleaners I'm going to use to really 10x my life. And it became super irrelevant that I hired cleaners. It's like, that's pocket change now. And I don't say that to brag. I say that because that's the truth. Like, that's just what it is. And so we get to see it for what it is. Can you face the thing that you're feeling that you don't want to feel? Can you have faith enough to listen to your soul when it prompts you to do something, including investments? And can you begin to get clear and really honest with yourself what actually matters to you? Because if it doesn't, if you think that I'm just doing it for money and that's the most amount of clarity you have, like, I don't know, I just need money to pay my bills, and then you wonder why you're not showing up, that's why you're not showing up, because that doesn't fucking matter to you. That's like someone telling you, you better not say the word frig or else I'm gonna not be your friend. You're gonna be like, yeah, frig that. That's the first thing you're gonna say. That's what you're doing to yourself. You're setting yourself up to be spunky, to be defiant. And then you wonder why you're being defiant. That's why you're being defiant. But you're not gonna be defiant and you're gonna be pulled forward when you're clear what your purpose is, when you're clear what the hell you actually care about and you're backing that up, and then you have support to shift your mindsets to do that. Do you see what I'm saying? This is why we designed Wealthy Coach. It's been running for years now, and our clients just get immense value and results because this is the work we do. This is like all combined together. Plus, then we're in a big, huge community of people where, like, all 20, 25 of us, however many's in there, we're all together and just rooting each other on and celebrating wins. And you get used to being in an arena where you're getting your ass called to more. Your bullshit stories don't fly. They're not going to fly. Ain't nobody listening. And then we're going to call your ass to more, and we're going to celebrate your wins. People aren't going to be triggered in this group about you celebrating and having breakthrough. They're going to be super excited and like, oh my God, if she can do it, I can do it too. And then they do it too. This is the place to live, right? My favorite saying is, if you got 5 broke friends, you're going to be the 6th, right? It's so true. Like, who are you consistently around? What is the energy? What is, like, are you allowed to just spin your bullshit stories? Most of you are the smartest people in the room, so you're really good at spinning bullshit stories. And like, can we get around some people where you're not allowed to spin your bullshit stories? People are calling you out on that shit and calling you to more because they actually see what you're capable of, and they're reflecting that back to you until you decide to get in alignment with that, right? Like, that is definitely the way to go. Like, 100%. Love that. The investment is so irrelevant compared to the value you bring. Yes! Yes! This has changed my life too, right? Like, when I started being like, oh, but what if I screw that up? Or what if I get stressed out and then I'm messy and then I don't show up and make that worth it? And then I'm like, okay, in 10 years, what will I have thought of this? Like, oh, no. In 10 years, I'll be so glad. Even if I was messy for a month, that first investment or something, like, well, yeah, okay, I know myself. I'm the girl that shows up and does the work. It's messy as fuck all the time. Every time it's messy, and it never mattered. It never mattered it was messy. I'm going to show up and I'm going to do it until, because I care so much about serving those women out there stuck in that poverty cycle, and they just can't seem to get out of it, and they're just working and working and working and telling themselves all these bullshit stories, and nobody's calling them out because nobody can handle the power that they have. Nobody can handle their bigness, right? Well, I can handle the fucking bigness. For sure. Oh, right. There was something I wanted to say to you. What was it? Really, it's just the idea of the only other thing around this is just understanding resistance, right? Understanding that resistance is universal. You can't get away from it. If you're a human being, you're going to be dealing with resistance. And resistance is the moment when your soul's about to expand. So resistance happens anytime you're going from a lower state to a higher state. So it doesn't matter if you're about to make an investment in yourself, or if you're about to speak your truth online, if you're about to launch that program that you're pretty sure you're not worthy to do. It's resistance happens when you go on a diet, or you're looking to take better care of yourself. Resistance happens when you go to be intimate with a human being, or express your love, or when something hurt your feelings and you're an asshole instead of you being vulnerable and honest about what you feel, right? So like resistance is universal, and it's really important for us to just start to be able to see like resistance for what it is. Like, I'm resisting doing this up leveling. I'm like, and instead of believing the bullshit, like resistance is really this evil, sneaky, like I don't give a shit who you are. I'm gonna take you down. I'm gonna keep you here and keep you small so you can't bring your gifts to the world. It's just a really ugly thing, right? And so like if we can just see it and be like, ooh, yuck, like, ooh, there's that resistance, like, ugh, yuck, no, thank you. I see what you're doing there, and I'm going to choose to not fall into the trap of resistance, right? And then we get to just choose to back our soul. And the faster you back your soul, the less resistance has time to creep in. So the second you have like a, oh my God, I can see it, you want to take action that you cannot get away from. Like, I learned that from Tony Robbins. He said, don't ever leave the site of a breakthrough without taking committed action that you can't break out of, that you can't turn back from, right? So like for me, it would be like for sure investing in mentors. Like the second I can see, oh, yep, this is where my resistance and my pattern and my disbelief is coming in and my smallness is coming in, and I could see how this, whatever particular support will really serve me, and then I instantly back that and take that up and make a decision. And I have made a decision not to go back and doubt that and go back and forth. I make the decision, and I make that decision right, and I show up and do the work to create 10 times the value of whatever the investment was, so the investment is relevant, right? So it really is about resistance and about recognizing the story that I was just unwilling to face the answer that I always knew was mine, what my world is, what my vibration is, what is meant for me, what is my soul calling me to. And the faster you take action on that, the faster you get all the results, end of story. And the more you take fast action to back up the breakthrough that you see, like when you can see through the fog and you can like see for a second before that fog rolls back in, you want to take a committed action, and you want to like commit to it and seal the deal in a way that you can't turn back from, because then you're going to wish you did a few times, and then you're going to be required to push through to the other side, and that's how you grow. That's how we break through the resistance. It's such a powerful arena to be in. Makes sense? Thank you for not coming at us with the kumbaya attitude. I've never heard somebody say that. We can celebrate our wins and support each other, but let's call facing out our own bullshit along the way. I've needed this kick in the ass. Just see it, own it, and keep making the right next step moves. That yes, girl, couldn't have said it better myself. Hell yes. And I know that my flavor isn't for everybody, and that's okay. They can find the kumbaya coaches. I'm very loving and have zero judgment whatsoever, because I've made all the big mistakes myself and have gone through all the drama and trauma and craziness. And I also know it doesn't serve people to let that linger and keep going on and on and on, and keep like buying into like the, well, I guess it's going to take 5 years to, like, I don't know, I guess if you want it to take 5 years, you can do that. But if you wanted to take 1, you can have that too. I guess that's just up to you. It's just a decision you get to make. And the amount of resistance that you will feel, obviously building a $500,000 business in 2 years, it feels different than building a $500,000 business in 10 years. It feels different. And you get to pick the pace you want to take. There's no right or wrong. And you get to step into this and do this work. But what I can tell you is that if you are willing to step in and feel the feels and take that brave leap and commit to the thing that your soul is calling you to take, and you put yourself in a position that you can't back out of, you will get the results on the other side. That's what I can tell you. If you're willing to step into that, you'll get the results on the other side. And everything on the other side is so fucking good. That's what I can tell you. You don't have to, but it's available for you if that's what you want. Make sense? Yes. Woo! Okay, y'all. Crap, what time is it? I have a call with one of my clients in 8 minutes, so I'm gonna go. The link to the Wealthy Coach is in the comments. Check out the page, mandyperry.com. It's got all the testimonials. It's got everything that I'm going to give you guys in there. This is like a seasoned, well worked out, group that we've been running for a while. You get access to me and my team in the Facebook group the whole time. You get to, ask questions anytime you want to. We're really in it with you guys. And then you also have access to my tech girl, for all the tech questions so we do both, right? I'm going to teach you guys all this powerful mindset stuff where your bullshit can't fly, and then I'm also going to teach you the how-to stuff, right? Like tangibly actually setting up your business. So and how to make it freaking easy and just do the power moves instead of scrolling out. So feel free to go check out the website, and I'll see you guys on the other side. Love you.